Hello again, this is Valerie Gaddis. Today I'm going away from spinning for just a little bit to show you about knitting. I have knitted for over 50 years and I've traditionally done the right hand English throwing, which is really not very efficient for movements in your hand, and like a lot of people, I'm getting arthritis in my hands or they cramp up with work. I can only imagine how they used to knit items with triple aught or quad zero knitting needles, which were just nothing more than a piece of wire. How they did that, I don't know. But anyway, I recently obtained a knitting belt. So fashionable, I know. We could try this even with a man's belt with a piece of cord or ribbon. You don't necessarily need a leather belt that's specifically a knitting belt. You could even take the needle, if you have a regular long knitting needle, and put it under your arm and it would work all the same. But I've been trying to learn flicking for the last 2 or 3 years, and after doing millions of stitches where I traditionally drop my hand, pick up the yarn, throw it, and then pick it up again, it's really laborious. So I've tried to go to flicking by just moving my hand minimally and taking the yarn up around the end of the tip. Flicking is really the next step in English throwing. You could probably adapt to it pretty well, particularly if you have something that's just all knit. It's a lot easier to do. Probably the hardest thing to do is to get that tension right wrapped around your fingers. And you're just going to have to experiment with that because everybody's hand is different. Everybody's knuckles are different. Everybody's fingers are different. So don't let someone tell you, oh, this is how you do it, because you have to find what is right for you. And so many times you find someone that wants to teach knitting and they're not willing to let people adapt for their own method and their own muscle memory. And that's what I'm having to do now, is if I want to try and do Shetland knitting, I need to change my muscle memory after millions of stitches over 50 years. And it can be done, just takes patience. Also with this, it's a little interesting in that the left needle does most of the work. There's really no holding of the needle on the right side. I have that chance to be able to, fiddle with the tension in my right hand and just flip it. That's all I'm doing in my right hand. The left hand is doing all the work. The left hand acts as a shuttle, moving back and forth on the tips of the needles. So that's something that needs to be learned also, is to use that left hand more. Also, whenever the knit piece gets big enough, what's done quite often is there's a string that's ran through the bottom. It's not knit in, it's just ran through the bottom. And then it's kind of tucked into the belt. And by doing that and creating tension on the knitting, then it opens up the stitches on the left side to be able to grab them quicker and easier. But give it a try. I think you'll really like it. I can walk around, I can knit. It's certainly a less stressful way to knit on your hands if you're starting to suffer with arthritis or you have some other impairment. It's something worth trying, whether you have a belt or not. Just try it with maybe an oversized man's leather belt and fit it in there. And it doesn't need to be long double pointed that way. It can just be a regular long straight needle. So give it a try. It's kind of fun. It's something new to learn. I'm certainly not proficient at it yet, but I'm hoping in time I will be. So have fun. That's what it's all about. And learn every day. That's what we've got to do, is move forward and learn every day. So happy spinning or knitting.